capital, where the pension bill has also been passed by the Lok Sabha. Remember, there's been a lot of back and forth, but finally it has been cleared by the Lok Sabha this afternoon. So that is good news. My understanding is that because it is linked to the insurance bill, so the cap for pension will be at 26% as far as the FDI is concerned. Because remember, the BJP has not allowed the government to go forward with hiking the insurance FDI cap to 49%. So currently insurance at 26%, and the bill had very categorically said that pension will be linked to the FDI cap of the insurance bill. So very quickly, let's listen in to P. Chidambaram, the finance minister, and then we'll get on with our guests.
The bill was again reintroduced in 2011, and this is one of the rare bills that went through another standing committee procedure. This time, the standing committee was chaired by Mr. Ashwin. This committee also favorably reported the bill. There was only one member who dissented to the standing committee's report. We think that at the current stage of development of the pension market and the current stage of development of the bond market and the equity market and other instruments of investment, we should strike a balance. We have therefore struck a balance. There are clear restrictions on how much can be invested in the equity market, the E market, how much can be invested in the government bond market, the G market, and how much can be invested in the C market, the corporate bond market. The bond market is relatively underdeveloped in India, and therefore we have to have this balance.
Well, that is the finance minister, the pension bill being cleared by the Lok Sabha. Very quickly, Rajiv, let me get your thoughts in on that, because this has been something that should have happened at the start of the week, but finally it's gone through. It's linked to the insurance bill. Insurance currently capped at 26% as far as FDI is concerned, but good news nevertheless.
Yes, very good news. I think the last week has been excellent. Don't you think? So we started with the food security bill. You can debate whether it was a good or bad thing, but at least that it was an important piece of legislation that went through the business of parliamentary approval. We had the land acquisition bill, which is a very important piece of legislation. Now the pension bill. Tomorrow we get the insurance bill and a breakthrough on the GST. I think we can start feeling pretty good.
Well, we can start feeling pretty good about ourselves. How quickly things change. Let me get in a word from Ashwin. Parekh. Mr. Parekh, appreciate you joining us. Pension being cleared by the Lok Sabha. The BJP has had its way. 26% is where the FDI cap is. Of course, we heard, Samajwadi Party, the TMC, and so on and so forth, opposing the CPIM, opposing the pension bill. But this will mean good news, not just for the financial sector, but also for the infrastructure sector.
No, very true. In fact, I must say, that the floor was managed extremely well, and the Parliament has really approved of a very important bill. This will recognize the authority which has been under existence by way of ordinance, and it's been hanging there for almost 8 years.
Yes.
It will certainly give the new authority a lot of more powers, to put things together, particularly in the voluntary pension area. Mandatory pension was doing well on account of the fact that the acquisition happens on its own, but voluntary pension and NPS, particularly in the voluntary, is something which is very welcome, I should say.
What is this actually going to mean for fund flows? Because we heard the finance minister speak a short while ago after the bill was passed in Parliament, saying that he is hopeful that FDI will start to come in with the passage of the pension bill by the Lok Sabha.
It will, to the extent that, it's now tied up to the insurance FDI limit, but at the same time, in as much as we've got good investments in FDI, in the insurance sector, the only challenge is that the proposed bill only empowers PFRDA to do the accumulation part of the pension. The annuities are still with the insurance companies, life insurance companies, and life insurance companies need capital. Asset management and accumulation does not require much capital. So the size of FDI that we are talking about, we could be looking at, may not be very substantial, I should say.
All right, Mr. Parekh, just hang in there. Let's go back across now and discuss Raghuram Rajan's maiden speech as Reserve Bank Governor. Joining us now is the former Deputy Governor of the RBI, Mr. Rakesh Mohan. Mr. Mohan, appreciate you joining us. Getting down to specifics, charting out an agenda as far as his tenure is concerned on the very first day, making specific announcements with regards to internationalizing the rupee, with regards to the FCNRE deposits, with regards to bank licenses, freeing up bank branches. What did you make of Rajan's first day?
Well, I think that first, this must be the most substantive speech given by an incoming governor on the first day in office. He's obviously thought about it a great deal, starting from his own financial sector reforms report was 6-7 years back. The good thing, of course, is that he is really giving a speech of great confidence, which is really needed currently in the current circumstances of the Indian economy. This is clearly a very important landmark in the RBI for an incoming governor to be as well prepared as he is. And it also, of course, is a consequence of the government having announced his appointment almost a month in advance. So he had a full month to prepare for this. And he obviously used that time extremely well, apart, of course, from his knowledge from his previous assignments. So indeed, I think it's a very welcome sign for the Indian economy that the incoming governor knows exactly what he wants to do and that he laid out his program.
But in terms of what this could actually mean as far as the depreciating rupee is concerned, especially with regards to the specifics mentioned on the exporters and importer relaxations on the FCNRE deposits, do you believe that we are going to see a significant recovery as far as the currency is concerned on the back of what we've heard from Raghuram Rajan this evening?
No, I think that the important point for me to focus on right now is not the very detailed specifics and also the immediate set of consequences. I think it is much more important to see that we have a new governor who is very, very knowledgeable about central banking and financial markets, who has deep knowledge of these issues. He has thought about it a lot. He has had time in the Ministry of Finance for over a year to think about what can be done in India. And he has clearly signaled his intention to carry out his what he believes is the best for the Indian economy, Indian financial markets, for monetary policy and central banking. I think the important thing is to really focus on the confidence that is displayed carrying out the kind of reforms that he had advocated in his report 6-7 years ago, and keeping, of course, in mind the current Indian economic situation.
Dr. Mohan, welcome, sir. Thank you very much for joining. I think you put it very succinctly. Confidence, focus, decisiveness. It was a picture of all that and certainly a record in terms of decisions taken in the first 10 minutes by any incoming RBI governor. But let me start with where he quoted you, that lazy banking aphorism that you used because bankers were relying too much on SLR. He's almost looking to stop this preemption or reduce the preemption of banking resources by government securities. You think he'll succeed at a time of huge fiscal deficit?
Well, as I said, I don't really want to comment on any specifics at the moment because that takes time to sink in and one can't really comment on them after 5 minutes of reading what he has said since being in the United States, I was not able to see the television. But nonetheless, as I said, that the important point, if I can just repeat, is that he has a clear idea of where he wants to go, and he has signaled that on his his first day, which displays great confidence. And I think that is what we need to focus on as of now.
Okay. Rajiv Lal was just saying that the success rate could be higher simply because the economy is in turmoil and this is the time to announce changes. In benign times, people like to continue with what is happening. Do you think his success rate could be much higher given his own decisiveness and focus and probably given troubled times?
No, let me put it differently. That there was a similar kind of situation in terms of a very quick announcement. Of course, that took about a month. In 1991, when the industrial policy reforms were announced. But the point is that it is when your mind is focused on difficulties and the kind of stress that the Indian economy is facing, that various things that have been in people's minds then get focused, and you have someone who has good experience and understanding and knowledge, both history of financial markets globally and in India, that you can get these kind of very, very decisive actions.
Appreciate you joining us, Dr. Mohan. That analogy crossed my mind that